The film opens in Darling's Diner, a bustling roadside restaurant in the rural South owned by a middle-aged woman named Angela Darling. The diner sits right beside a railroad track and is always crowded with locals, travelers, and regulars, giving it a warm, energetic atmosphere. Angela runs the place with the help of her 3 children, twin teenage sons James and Douglas, and her youngest child, Wendy. Everyone who comes through the diner is fond of Wendy, who is treated like the heart of the place. One afternoon, a boy named Thomas Marshall is celebrating his 7th birthday at the diner with his grandmother. While they eat, his grandmother jokingly tells him that when he grows up, he will probably end up working as a cleaner in the diner. Thomas reacts angrily and insists that he wants to become a pirate instead. The older people nearby laugh at his dream, dismissing it as childish nonsense. Hurt and overwhelmed, Thomas quietly leaves the diner when no one is paying attention. From inside, a very young Wendy crawls up to a window and watches him climb onto a moving train outside. She notices another child already riding the train with him, though the boy's face is unclear. Years pass, and Wendy grows older, but the memory of that moment never leaves her. As she matures, her imagination deepens, and she begins writing her own bedtime stories filled with excitement and adventure. By the age of 9, Wendy is already daring and thrill-seeking, eager for experiences that go beyond her small town. She helps her mother and brothers at the diner, where a missing person notice hangs on a board. It states that Thomas Marshall disappeared at the age of 7 and was never found. Another notice mentions a 13-year-old boy who also vanished, hinting that children often go missing in the area. Wendy is quiet, thoughtful, and self-possessed, which contrasts sharply with James and Douglas, who are loud, playful, and constantly singing or dancing. Despite their differences, the 4 of them share a close and loving bond. One evening, at the boys' request, Angela tells her children a bedtime story about her younger years. She admits that she once lived recklessly, chasing dreams that others mocked. She talks about hitchhiking across the country, stealing cars, and heading to California with no real plan. Wendy listens in awe and asks her mother what her dreams are now. Angela replies that her only dream is to take care of her children, explaining that as people grow older, their priorities and dreams naturally change. This deeply upsets Wendy, who cannot imagine ever abandoning her desire for adventure or growing old at all. The next day after school, the children go fishing by a canal. While James and Douglas are distracted, Wendy runs toward the nearby railway tracks. She sees a train approaching and chases after it, hoping to climb aboard just as Thomas once did. She stumbles and falls, missing the train entirely. On her walk home, her brother's earlier words echo in her mind, "Your life will pass, and nothing exciting will ever happen." That night, while the rest of the family sleeps, Wendy stays awake, entertaining herself by inventing stories about the stars. Suddenly, a strange red light flashes through her window, followed by the distant sound of a train. She looks outside and sees a boy running and playing on top of a moving train. She recognizes him as Peter, the same boy who was with Thomas years earlier. Wendy wakes her brothers, and the 3 of them climb out the window to investigate. Before the boys can stop her, Wendy leaps onto the train. James and Douglas follow her. As the train speeds forward, Wendy stretches her arms wide, feeling an overwhelming sense of freedom. Peter appears, laughing and full of energy. When the siblings ask him where the train is headed, he tells them there are no stops, because this is an adventure. By morning, Peter explains that the world has no boundaries and stretches endlessly beyond homes and restaurants. When the train reaches a bridge over a river, Peter asks the children to stand along the edge. Without questioning him, they do so, only to scream as he pushes them into the water. Peter jumps in after them. They meet another child waiting in a boat, and together they sail across the sea until they reach a tropical island dominated by an active volcano. A strange, fish-like creature makes a deep sound from the water, which Peter says is the mother welcoming them. Wendy suddenly realizes that the voice that once tempted her to sneak out at night has been calling her from this island all along. Smoke rises from the volcano, emphasizing the island's magical nature. Peter runs into the forest with his companion, leading the siblings after him. Along the way, smoke bursts from the ground, frightening them. Eventually, they encounter a boy their age singing to the volcano. Wendy unexpectedly joins in. Peter interrupts, mocks their singing, and performs a strange ritual, causing the volcano to rumble. Amid the chaos, another boy appears, Thomas. Wendy recognizes him instantly, though he has not aged at all. Thomas claims he is now a Blackbeard and runs off. That night, Wendy and her brothers sit among many other children, all laughing and playing. Slowly, they join in, singing the same melody from earlier. The next morning, Peter gazes out at the sea, saying he is speaking to the mother. Later, he takes Wendy through a hidden pit that leads to a canal, then into the ocean, where she finally sees the mother, a massive glowing fish spirit that radiates golden light. Peter explains that when the first child ever laughed, the mother rose from the earth to protect children forever. She preserves their youth so they can live freely, as long as they continue believing in her. If they lose faith, they age rapidly. Days pass in endless joy. The children dance, sing, and play without worry. James and Douglas gradually forget about their life back home, but Wendy believes she will return once she has had enough adventure. One morning, Wendy encounters an elderly man wandering alone. When she greets him, he flees. The children explain that he is Buzzle, a former member who lost faith after his best friend died, causing him to age. Later, they discover a wrecked boat named the Manana. The siblings swim to explore it. Douglas hesitates but is pressured by James. All three dive inside, but only Wendy and James come out. Douglas is gone. They search desperately but fail. The others pull Wendy and James away, insisting Douglas must be safe. James is devastated. The next morning, his hand is wrinkled and aged. Wendy realizes he has lost faith. Peter discovers the truth, and James tries to cut off his arm to stop the aging. Peter does it instead. Wendy takes James away to find an adult. They find Buzzle, who leads them to the old people's settlement, former children who aged. They are fishing, trying to eat the mother to regain youth. James's arm is bandaged, and they rest in an abandoned diner. Wendy dances, encouraging the old people to reclaim their childhood spirit. Most join her, but James storms off. He proposes a plan to kidnap the children to lure the mother. The adults agree. Wendy tries to warn the kids but fails. Only Peter escapes. The adults repair the manana and sail away with the children. Wendy notices their leader has one arm, James, now fully grown and renamed Captain Hook. Wendy and Peter jump into the sea to follow. Wendy later reunites with Douglas, who survived. Together, they board the ship, confront Hook, and witness the adults hunting the mother. Hook harpoons her, destroying her glow. He refuses to eat her flesh. Peter mourns. Wendy comforts him and explains that growing up allows new stories to be made. Inspired, they sing again, awakening the volcano. Wendy and Douglas return home. James stays behind as Hook, choosing to remain Peter's rival forever. In the end, Wendy grows up, becomes a mother, and tells the story to her daughter. One night, her daughter boards the train with Peter. Wendy watches them leave, smiling, knowing a new adventure has begun. Your support means everything to us, so don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to stay connected.